Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Rundown, where we talk about 2A news and conservative views. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. And today is Hump Day.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
It's Hump Day.
Hump Day!
That's right, folks. Today is Hump Day, where we attempt to begin the weekend, sometimes with success, sometimes not. But as we always like to say, the fun is all in the trying. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Once again, like I said before, I am Craig DeLuz. I will be your host today, and it's going to be us. It's going to be me. It's going to be you. We're going to be commenting and taking your comments. So if you're watching us live at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, all y'all in the middle, know where you're at. Go ahead and give us a comment if you're watching us on Rumble or on Facebook or on YouTube or on OpsLens or on however you're watching us. If you're watching us live, go ahead and give me a comment. Let us know what you think about the program. Let you know what you think about what we're talking about. But make sure as you're doing it, make sure you share with your friends. Share. Share a link to the program so that other folks can chime in as well. I'm sure they all want to talk about, debunking the myths that the left seems to be pushing about the Trump trial, and that's going to be a big chunk of what we're going to be talking about today, along with other news. But before we get into the news, you know what we got to do. That's right, we got to give a quick shout out to our sponsors. We're going to start with Hitman Industries. If you are looking to rebarrel your current rifle, or you're looking to do a brand new build, I can think of no better place to suggest that you go than Hitman Industries. They have rifle and pistol length barrels available for you today. And what's really great about it is they also have Glock barrels. So if you're, whatever you're looking to do me a favor. Check them out at hitmanindustries.net. And if you are a first responder and never purchased from them before, you're going to get a discount. So check them out today, hitmanindustries.net. Then we've got the California Republican Assembly working to help elect conservatives at all levels of government, from school board all the way up to President of the United States. Ronald Reagan once referred to CRA as the conscience of the Republican Party. Check them out online at cragop.org. If you want to be a part of California's future today, join CRA. And then if you are looking for a concealed carry or tactical holster, there is no better place for you to go than Hog Holsters. That's right, you find them at hogholsters.com. If you go on there and you look for a discount code, put in the rundown, just like it is right up there. All caps, no spaces, one word, and you'll get a discount on us. Once again, the best, whether inside the waistband, outside the waistband, concealed carry, tactical, whatever you are looking for in a holster, trust me, they have it for you. Check them out today. And then finally, the website that has all things tactical except for the gun is uscombatgear.com. It's veteran owned and operated, fast shipping, excellent selection, no matter what you are looking for. Any kind of outdoor gear, cold weather gear, wet weather gear, from head to toe, you can outfit yourself, once again, with all things tactical except the gun at uscombatgear.com. And that then will allow us to get into today's program. And there is a lot of conversation. Still, the overwhelming majority of the conversation, at least when it comes to politics right now, is still about the Donald Trump trial. And it is interesting to watch many on the left do their best to try and justify what happened. Many politicians, many in the media, many in academia are all or in their entertainment as well. They are all thrilled that Donald Trump, in their eyes, in their opinion, has finally gotten his comeuppance. And he has finally been held accountable. Now, they can't say what he's been held accountable for. They don't know. They just know he's guilty. Of what? Who knows? But they know that he happens to be guilty. So, therefore, once again, they are in full celebratory mode. But what I wanted to do today was I wanted to take a few minutes, because Time Magazine in particular went out of their way to put out a piece. It's called, here, I'll bring it up here. It's called Debunking the Myths About the Trump Conviction. And what's interesting about it is that in quote-unquote debunking the myths about the Trump conviction, they flat out lie. And they're not myths. These are not myths. These are actual things that, well, let me clarify. Some of them are things that people have said, right? Some of them are straw man arguments that they put up so that they can then tear them down. So I want to take a quick minute and go over some of these, and debunk some of them for you. So here's myth number one: no one knows what Trump was charged with. Let's be clear. We do know what Donald Trump was charged with. Donald Trump was charged with 34 counts of falsifying business records, right? That's what he was charged with in this particular case. Now, normally those would have been misdemeanors, meaning we would have been well far past the statute of limitations. But what they did was they had them bumped up to felonies because it was in the pursuance. It was in the, basically it was to cover up another crime, right? Another crime that was a serious felony. And they didn't tell you what that felony was. They went through they went through the entire trial and never really until the closing arguments alluded to what that crime was. Let's read their point here real quick. It says here, all right, no one knows what Trump was charged with. Trump was charged with a 15-page indictment handed up by the grand jury with 34 counts of violating New York Penal Code 175-10 in the first degree, which is a felony. A violation of the first degree occurs when a person falsifies business records with an intent to defraud that includes intent to commit, aid, or conceal another crime. In addition to the indictment, the Manhattan District Attorney filed a 13-page statement of facts detailing the allegations. Now, once again, in this 13-page document, hold on, let's see. Did they let you click through and see the document? Okay, here's the 13-page document. You guys can go, if you go on the Time website, you can go through this document and look here. And nowhere in here do they actually mention the crime. You see here, suppressing statements, but what? There's no crime that is put out. There's no crime here that he is actually accused of trying to cover up. But they don't care. That doesn't matter to them because the myth must stay alive. And once again, it's really kind of disingenuous because they act like, well, people don't know what crime he was charged with. No, people actually did know what crime he was charged with. What they don't know is the full extent of the crime. And when we talk about the full extent of the crime, we're specifically referring to what was it that he did that was a felony? What is the underlying felony that he is being charged, that he was supposedly guilty of or had committed that he was trying to cover up? So there is lie number one that they're trying to cover up. All right, and then we've got here, it says prosecutors stretch the law to convert the misdemeanor into a felony. Their response: under New York law, a simple falsification of business records without any intent to commit or conceal another crime is a violation of the statute's second degree punishable by a misdemeanor. An intent to conceal another crime is an aggravated factor that brings enhanced penalties such as felony. This law, containing degrees of severity, was enacted by the New York legislature, and it is a common way of structuring laws for escalating penalties for more egregious violations. Now, once again, let's talk a little bit about this. Okay, so first of all, they never mentioned what the other crime was. How do you know that the other crime is a more serious crime or is a felony if they don't actually tell you what the crime is? Right? Once again, you can go through, you can look at the charging documents. You can go back and you can read the transcripts of the opening statements. Everything is out there. And nobody, even folks on CNN and MSNBC were saying, yeah, they never really made their case because they never made the point of what the other charge was. Basically, and here's the thing. There is no crime for which he was ever charged, let alone convicted of engaging in. And by the way, if we're going to talk about this, the reason why they needed to make it a felony was because the statute of limitations had run out. That's right, the statute. And truth be told, even though the statutes and limitations, even though they did this so that they could get within the statute of limitations, they added a year because of COVID. So they said, well, because of COVID, we're going to add a year to the statute of limitations on these. They literally wrote this up in a way in which to go after him. This is unprecedented. And when you say unprecedented, I think there is not once again, not a legal scholar out there, not one, who will not agree that this is an unprecedented prosecution. And it's unprecedented in no small part because of what they're doing, because of what they did to make this case. It was a novel legal theory. When I say a novel legal theory, I mean, no one had ever done this before. And they decided that they were going to do it while going after the president that the district attorney pledged as a campaign promise to go after. Yeah, nothing hinky here at all. Nothing hinky at all. Let's move on to the next myth. The prosecution didn't tell Trump what he was charged with until closing arguments, violation of due process. While the indictment specified each of the checks and invoices in the ledger entries alleged to have been falsified, it did not specify which crime Trump allegedly concealed. The defendant is entitled to fair notice of the crime which he is charged so that he can effectively defend himself at trial. But New York law does not require this level of specificity in the charging document. New York case law requires that the indictment allege only general intent to conceal crime, not intent to conceal a specific crime. Nonetheless, prosecutors provided specificity in the prosecution filing. Once again, they did not. They provided specificity. Here's what they did. They said, well, these are the crimes he was probably trying to cover up. Meaning, they couldn't say that he was covering it up. They're saying all they had to do was make the accusation that he was trying to cover up a crime, is what they're saying. All they had to do was make the accusation. They didn't even have to prove that he was trying to cover up a crime. That's what, New York says. Or that's what Time Magazine is saying. Let me look at what some of these other ones here. Trump would not have been charged for mere bookkeeping error if his name were anything other than Donald Trump. They argue that they've charged this falsification. They've charged it 9,700 or 9,800 times. What they don't tell you is what they don't tell you, where's it at? Yep, none of them have been upgraded to felonies. Importance of integrity, business, home, no. So what they don't tell you is, he wouldn't have been charged. They charged this like 9,800 times since 2015, but what they don't tell you is they haven't charged anybody with the felonies, let alone 34 of them for the same thing. They're trying to say here there's nothing illegal about paying hush money. And famous people do it all the time. That is not a myth. Paying hush money itself. And here's what's funny. So they call it a myth and then they verify it. Then they justify it. Paying hush money itself is not a crime, but it is a crime to falsify business records, and it is a more serious crime to falsify business records with, in this case, the intent to conceal other crimes. Once again, what other crimes? They didn't tell him what other crimes. It was so bad that the judge basically had to say, you don't even have to agree what the crimes are. You could say his crime was his hair. His hairstyle is a crime. It's a crime against humanity. Therefore, and it's a felony. So therefore, he is guilty if you want him to be guilty. This is the case that was made against President Donald Trump. This is the case, the Time magazine, which quite frankly is dying on the vine. I don't know who takes them seriously. All you have to do is just look at their Times Person of the Year and you'll know. No, there's nothing to be taken serious about Time magazine. They need to just go away is what they really need to do. But I just thought these are arguments that the left is making regarding the case. And so I thought you might benefit from having the opportunity to hear some arguments against those. You've probably already heard them all if you've already been following this case. But anyway, it's kind of sad what they're trying to do here. They're trying to justify what you and I both know is a bad case and is a political prosecution with the intent of persecuting. Anyway. All right, folks, let's move on to our next story. California bill requires the hiring of illegals with tax dollars. That's right. In California, there is a piece of legislation that has been proposed that would, well, you know what? Once again, I will go directly to the story, and I'll read from the story rather than try to tell you in my own words. It says here, Reform California Chairman Carl DeMaio is blasting an assembly bill that Democrats in the California State Legislature are proposing that will direct the University of California system to begin hiring illegal immigrants for taxpayer-funded state jobs. Quote, I've seen a lot of outrageous proposals from California Democrat politicians bending over backwards to make it easier for illegal immigrants to get in and get taxpayer benefits. But this one absolutely tops the list of insane ideas, DeMaio told Fox News Digital. If passed, Assembly Bill 2586 would provide state government jobs and taxpayers expense for illegal immigrants. DeMaio said specifically it mandates that illegal immigrants with no U.S. work authorization should be given access to apply for and take jobs provided through taxpayer-funded universities by the state government. Quote, by passing this law to mandate that illegal immigrants be hired for taxpayer-funded jobs in state government, California Democrats are not only making the border crisis worse, they are openly violating federal employment laws that prohibit the hiring of illegal immigrants, DeMaio said. Now, as a person who is a resident of the state of California, let me make a couple of observations. Number one, we have the highest unemployment in the country. Number two, in particular, because of the cost of living in the state of California, we have the highest underemployment in the country, meaning you have people who are not making enough money. In many cases, they're not making enough. They're working part-time. We just lost several thousand jobs in fast food industry. Well, I say several thousand. It's more than several thousand, but we lost a lot of jobs due to the increase, the $20 an hour minimum wage here in California. We're now currently facing a budget deficit. It was up to $73 billion. They made some adjustments and some cuts that they say gets it down to 46. We haven't seen the tax revenues for the month of May yet. I'm going to guess it's probably back up high again because, you know, according to Gavin Newsom, global warming made it so that we haven't received the amount of taxes we're supposed to get. That's Gavin Newsom for you. That's our governor. But we're also seeing a massive influx right now. The San Diego area, our southern border here in California, because we're doing nothing to actually enforce it, it is bearing the brunt of the illegal immigration crisis in this nation. People are piling through. We have the highest homeless population of any state in the country. We are suffering right now, and as people are coming in, it is taxing. It's taxing the resources here. California is providing free health care. They're providing shelter and homes. They're providing taxpayer-funded jobs, all as incentives to encourage people who have come to our country illegally to come here to California. In the meantime, the people who live here, like I said, highest homeless population, and a lot of them are people who are in California who actually had a place where they were living here in the state of California. There are a lot of people who can't afford to live here anymore, who are having to move out. California, for the first time, has seen a decrease year over year for multiple years a decrease in population, not in terms of growth, but a decrease in the actual population. And a lot of those people leaving, well, they're high income earners. There are people who want to live the American dream, but realize that they cannot afford to live the American dream here in the state of California. How sad is that? The Golden State is not so golden. Anyway. But once again, this is California. And I got to tell you, I really think that if Republicans could do a better job of elevating candidates and building a bench to run for statewide office, I really do believe that there would be a shot to take out or to take over at least some of the gross seats in the legislature, as well as to take over the executive offices here. Because I got to tell you, what's been great is we got some really good freshman legislators, some new freshman legislators, or some new legislators here in California that I think are going to build up reputations enough to where they're going to be in a solid place where they're going to be able to run for higher office here in California, as long as they focus on the issues that are impacting Californians. Right, as long as and they're doing so by going places that Republicans have not gone. I'm gonna tell you right now, that's the big thing. They can't hide out. You can't hide out in your Republican enclaves. You can't stay where it's safe. You can't circle the wagons and hang out just among the people that agree with you. You got to be willing to go out to the highways and the hedges and compel them to come in, because otherwise you get this sort of madness. And when I say madness, the idea of paying, of encouraging, of passing a bill that would require federal tax dollars to be going, that go to jobs that are funded by taxpayers, by California and federal state tax, by California taxpayers, that would force those jobs to go to illegal immigrants, is just insane. It is insane, and it does not do justice to the taxpayers, the voters who may or may not have voted to put them in office. All right, moving along to our next story. 10 NFL teams refuse Pride celebrations. And this is a good one, because you know what? I got to tell you, I catch a lot of, you guys know I catch a lot of flack from Mike about my Dallas Cowboys, and he doesn't watch the NFL because they've gone too woke and yada, yada, yada. But you know what's great is to see NFL teams step up and say, no, we are not going to do this. We are not going to allow you to force us to celebrate that to which many of our audience, many of our supporters are morally opposed to. It says here, 10 NFL teams so far refuse LGBTQ Pride Month. It says of the NFL's 32 professional teams, just 22 commemorated, over 2/3. Anyway, commemorated Pride Month with the start of June over the weekend via social media, reaching a combined 42 million followers per Fox News. And this is a quote from the Fox News piece. The Washington Commanders, for example, said Pride Month is actually about love. The Commanders, Bills, and the Philadelphia Eagles, the city of brotherly love, changed the color of their logos to match the pride flag. The Vikings not only tweeted out their support and changed their logos, but also changed the banner of the X account. They are apparently very excited about Pride Month. While the main NFL account did not issue direct LGBTQ Pride Month message, it did repost messages from Chicago Bears and Jacksonville Jaguars. The 10 teams who refused to issue Pride Month message as of this writing are the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Cleveland Browns, Cincinnati Bengals, Tennessee Titans, Kansas City Chiefs, Denver Broncos, Dallas Cowboys, yay. I'm sorry. And Green Bay Packers, New Orleans Saints, and Atlanta Falcons. All right, well, let me just say, I just wanted to give that a quick note, and I wanted to give a quick shout out to those teams and say thank you. There are many of your fans who appreciate that. We don't need you to make quote-unquote cultural statements. Tell you what we need you to do. We need you to play football. We need you to be good at playing football. We need you to win. We need you to be entertaining. We do not need you to make statements about gender or gender identity. Really kind of simple. Keep it stupid simple. In other words, keep it simple stupid. Anyway, one of those two. In any case, thank you. We are so glad that you guys are standing up for the values of many, many, many of your fans. And then I wanted to wrap up with, we talked a little bit about Time Magazine at the beginning, so I kind of wanted to bookend this with Time Magazine stories. Joe Biden sat down for an extended interview apparently with Time Magazine. It didn't go too well. he did not look. Well, let's put it this way. I don't know if they either gave him his shot of go-go juice, steroids, and I don't know, bull urine. I don't know whatever they put in it. They either gave him the shot and it didn't work, or they forgot to give him the shot, because apparently, once again, he did not have a very good interview. And the folks over at the Washington Free Beacon, well, they provided the highlights of it for us. So let's see here. It says, number one, Biden threatens to beat up a journalist who questioned his age. The notoriously temperamental president got a little agitated when asked about the vast majority of Americans who express concern that Biden, 81, is too old and lacks the mental sharpness to serve as president. Quote, "I can do better than anybody, Biden told the much younger journalist. You're looking at me? I can take you." Biden has a long history of threatening behavior toward members of the press. And you thought that Major, his dog, was the one that was the problem. Now you see, it's not just Major, it's not just the dog. It sounds like it's also the owner. But wait, there's more. So it says here, Biden accuses Russia of invading Russia. Yes, he did that. Biden gets his dictators mixed up. Yes, he did. Biden smears ally. Now, this was after saying that he wasn't going to say anything about Netanyahu, because he was asked whether or not he felt that Netanyahu was trying to deliberately extend the war, and he says, "I'm not going to quote about that," and then goes to make a statement about it. And then, here's a good one. Biden explains what Hamas can do to end the war. Quote, "Hamas can end the war, can end this tomorrow. Hamas could say, and done, period." Wow. Okay. There you go. But yeah, no. I don't think that there is any doubt. I don't think anyone has any doubt that Joe Biden is beyond, how shall we say, he should not be running. He honestly should not be running. And I don't think that I don't think that anyone's going to stop him from running, because who are you going to put up? I mean, let's be honest. Who are you going to put up that can deny his policy? I mean, their best chance is, I think they're hoping that Biden, I think that what they really believe is, even if Biden loses, all the people who will be waiting in the wings will wait. And they'll wait till 2028. And I think the main person who needs that to happen is Gavin Newsom, because he is on such a hot seat here in the state of California that there's absolutely no way he could run nationally and actually hope of winning. I think they've just decided he's done. But yeah, Joe Biden, dude, it's time to find another cocktail, dude. Time to find another shot regiment that'll work for you. And that then brings us to our parting shots. Parting shots are brought to you by Hog Holsters. Just go to hogholsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown. All caps, no spaces. Get your Hog Holster today. All right, our first one here. You know that Biden introduced an executive order dealing with the border that you and I both know does not do anything except one thing. It says here, Biden announces plan to pretend to care about the border until November 6th. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And that's not the only thing he cares about. He clearly doesn't care about the people and the impact that inflation is having on them, because the White House claims that your inability to afford groceries is misinformation. Because all the stuff they talk about when it comes to the economy has nothing really to do with you. It doesn't. It really doesn't have anything to do with you. It has to do with the wealthy class and the investor class, but it doesn't really have anything to do with the thing that's going to impact us the most, and that is our ability to continue our way of life or afford our way of life. But, once again, he's with the elites. And you know what? The elites are with him, too. For example, you have Hollywood star Mr. Robert De Niro, who's out this week, doing his thing to try and push the president. And now, I guess he was doing it as a part of a new project or a new movie or documentary he's doing. So that he's working on. How to Lose 15 Million Fans in 48 Hours, starring Robert De Niro. And that's an interesting one, man, because like a lot of you, I can't watch him anymore. I can't watch him play a TV tough guy, knowing he is such a Marxist wuss. Done with Robert De Niro, which makes me mad because there are a number of movies that he is in that he has now ruined for me. Anyway, it's not I've tried to watch him. I'm not trying to be like mad at him, and because I can't. I can't. I don't want to hold his politics again, but I can't. He's done. He's just done. Anyway. Then these next two are in honor of Pride Month, and really kind of, debunking a couple of myths that the left is trying to put out relating to Pride Month. The first one here is the left. Don't shove your religion down my throat. Also the left. And here we have the AT&T logo, the YouTube logo, the LinkedIn logo, and all these other company logos, and even some Oreos that are now the color of the rainbow flag. And clearly, they don't care about where's the trans part of that flag. Anyway, they don't care about that. But anyway, yeah, and that's the thing, folks. Most of what we're talking about here is not about not allowing gay people to be gay people. It's about not forcing your agenda, not forcing the rest of us to celebrate what we don't believe in, And then finally, this last one, in case, the left, we aren't going after your kids. Also the left. Now, just so you know, there is a picture here of what appears to be a gay, I don't know, maybe they're at a gay pride parade, but a guy is wearing a costume with a very, very, very long, he's wearing a purple costume with a long thing, we'll call it his appendage. And then he's got a mother and what appears to be two little girls, I'm assuming are her daughters, holding on to the guy's appendage. Yeah, and these are little girls, like, I don't know, 6 and 7, 6 and 8. But they're not coming after your kids, right? You notice they're not trying to do drag time story hour to senior citizens. They want to be in our schools. That's their goal. Anyway, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on that. But anyway, once again, these are our parting shots. I hope you find them entertaining. All right, folks, before we go, it's time to give a final shout out to our sponsors. We've got Hitman Industries. You'll find them at hitmanindustries.net. Rifle and pistol length barrels available for you today. You got the California Republican Assembly, also known as the conscience of the Republican Party. Then you got Hog Holsters. Just go to hogholsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown. All caps, no spaces. Get your Hog Holster today. And then you can find all things tactical except the gun at uscombatgear.com. All right, folks. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for liking and sharing the program and encouraging your friends to do the same. We will be back tomorrow on Throat Punch Thursday with more news and commentary straight at ya. Y'all take care. We will see you mañana.